Hey everybody, this is Rhett. Welcome to Statistics. In this video, I'd like to discuss stem and leaf displays. A stem and leaf display, sometimes called a stem and leaf plot, or a stem and leaf chart, or stem and leaf graph, is a device for presenting quantitative data in a graphical format. It's similar to a histogram and assists in visualizing the shape of a distribution. In a stem and leaf display, the data values are separated into a stem and a leaf. The rightmost digit of each value is called a leaf, and the digits to the left are called a stem. So, for example, if you have the data value 125 and want to split it into a stem and leaf, the rightmost digit is 5. That'll be our leaf. The remaining digits are 1 and 2, and that will be our stem. A key provides instructions for recreating the original data value. In this case, the key would be a 12 with a dashed line, then 5, and it tells us that that's equal to 125. Let's go through some step-by-step instructions for constructing a stem and leaf display. The first thing you're going to want to do is order your data from least to greatest. Then we'll need to separate the rightmost digit, the leaf, from the remaining digits. That will allow us to determine the smallest and largest stem. Next, we'll want to make a list of the numbers from the smallest stem to the largest stem, and then add the leaves to each stem, preferably in order from least to greatest. Let's do an example. Here's some raw data. The first thing we want to do is put the data in order. Here we have it sorted from least to greatest. We want to separate the stems from the leaves. The rightmost digit of each number will be the leaf, and the remaining digits will be the stem. Notice for the first two data values of 0 and 7, the stem appears blank. So I'll add a stem of 0. Now I want to make a list of all the numbers from the smallest stem to the largest stem. In this case, my smallest stem was 0 and the largest stem was 9, so I'm making a list of the numbers from 0 to 9. Next, I want to add the leaves that go with each stem. So for the leaf 0, the stems are 0 and 7. For the stem 1, the leaves are 1, 2, 8, and 9. 2 is repeated, so I put a leaf for each repetition. For the stem 2, the leaves are 1, 5, 5, and 7, and so forth. The key tells me that a 9-3 is equivalent to 93. So that's how we construct a basic stem and leaf plot. However, from time to time, we may run into some issues. For example, what if we end up with too many stems? Look at the data set that's on your screen. To separate our stems from leaves, we're supposed to look for the rightmost digit. The first issue here is that some of the numbers are rounded to the 100th place, while others are rounded to the 1000th place. The digits are not aligned. We can fix this easily enough in Excel by using the increase decimal button. Now everything is lined up according to digits. If I separate off the rightmost digit from each number, I'll end up with stems that range from 139.86 to 327.24. If I make a list of all the numbers between 139.86 and 327.24, I'm going to end up with a long list. The solution here is rounding. Here you see that I've rounded the data to the 100th place. I did this using the Excel function round. The round function has two arguments. In the first place, I'll put a cell reference, and then the number 2 there says round to the second decimal place. If I separate off the rightmost digit, I'm going to still end up with a lot of stems. So let's try it again. In this case, I've rounded to whole numbers using the Excel function round again, this time keeping 0 decimal places. This is looking better. If I put the data in order from least to greatest, I end up with values 140 through 327. I can now separate off the rightmost digit. I'll have stems that range from 14 to 32, and here's the finished stem and leaf display. I'm not crazy about this stem and leaf display. I still have a lot of stems, so let's see if I can round and do a little bit better. Now I've rounded everything to the tens place. Again, I've used the Excel function round. In this case, the argument is -1. Remember that a positive 1 would round to the 10th place, 0 rounds to a whole number, -1 rounds to the 10th place. With rightmost digits of zeros, I'm going to drop those. I'm using the Excel function division by 10. So now the stems are 1, 2, and 3. The leaves for 1 are 4, 7, 8, and 9. The leaves for the stem 2 are numerous. I won't read those out to you. And the leaf for the stem 3 is the digit 3. The key tells us that to recreate the data, we combine the stem and the leaf and multiply by 10. This brings us to a second problem with stem and leaf displays when you end up with too few stems. So remember, our first problem was we had too many and we rounded. Now I think we have too few, so let's find a solution to this issue. The solution is to split the stems. Remember that the possible stems are the digits 0 through 9. So there are 10 possible stems. Well, the number 10 is divisible by 2 and 5. So we can either split the stems in 2 or split the stems by 5. Let's see how that works. Here's the stem and leaf display where we left off. I have 3 stems. In my opinion, that's too few. So I'm going to split the stems. In this case, I've split the stems in 2. So you'll see that each is repeated. The stem 1 is listed twice, as is the stem 2. The first appearance of the stem 1 is for digits 0 through 4. And the second instance of the stem 1 is for the leaves or digits 5 through 9. The same is for the first instance of the stem 2, which is for the digits 0 through 4, and the second instance of the stem 2 is for digits or leaves 5 through 9. Since there are no leaves in the 5 through 9 range for the stem 3, we leave it off. Again, we can add a key to recreate the source data. A 1-4 equals 140. So now I have a stem and leaf plot that has 5 stems and gives us a good picture of the distribution of this data. So in this video we learned about stem and leaf displays, the definition of a stem and a leaf, the advantages for rounding when we have too many stems, and for splitting the stems when we have too few stems, and finally that a key allows us to recreate our source data. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Until next time, stay real and be rational.